day, that reopening goalpost just won't hold still. Let's have a look. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn on your Monday. Now, typically I don't go live at this time on Mondays, but I had a bit of I know, what can I say? I had a bit of an itch for lack of a better word. And it's kind of been bugging me for about 24 hours. So I figure what time would be better than the present to go over this. But before I get into it, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn on your Monday evening. And I want to welcome everybody as always, and also give thanks to our loyal patrons, our subscribers, and our friends over on Twitch, Periscope, and hope you guys are getting your Twitch drive in order, because there are things that are in store coming right up. So it looks like I am frozen, but what we're going to do is we're going to do what we do around here per usual. And yeah, we're going to get going here. So we'll start off with our thanks to our loyal patrons, and we'll be right back for your Over the Barrel on your Monday.
This matters going forward. We're
This show is brought to you in part by our sponsors. Whether you're interested in health, culture, politics, scripture, automobiles, or music, there's something for everyone. So please check out Derek C. Williams, Killer Whale Channels, The Definition of Anarchy, Joseph Francis Burton, Paralysis by Analysis, Chrysler Imperial H, Little Miss Goth, AZ Infidel, Cold War Jesus, Anthony Scioli, and Let the Truth Be Told. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, and thanks so much for tuning in to the segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And as always, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. And for those of you that are, if you're a bit of a voyeur, if you're not sure whether or not you're coming in, as always, I want to thank you for considering coming into Black Spring with Autumn, because you do have choices out there. So thank you so much. And also I want to say hello to everyone in the chat. Angela Reed, how are you? Thanks so much for coming in. It's nice to see you, friends in code. It's nice to see you, as well as Anarchy Television. Thank you guys so much for coming in on this, it seems to be 11th hour streams. And I want to just speak just a little bit candidly, if I may. I'm a little bit goofier today because I'll talk about that later, but I'll change the pace on that. Don't want to burn too many minutes. But for starters, this is not the just for kicks. We've got quite a bit of a boardroom, school boardroom meetings these days made for TMZ almost, and there's one that's a little bit close in my neck of the woods. So I thought maybe I'd get into that, and we're going to have one more. We're going to have a hot mic situation, and we're also going to follow a liner that specifically discusses more on the teacher unions and the boardroom fiascos that we're going to see. But I think what I want to do is, it kind of bothered me. I'm going to be honest, what I witnessed on this particular stream, and this meeting that I watched. but it's also there was a bit of I saw there was an opportunity also in there. It's a bit of laughter. I just want to say to the friends and to the followers, subscribers, wherever you fall in that you know we're gonna have to stand up these days. There's really no way around it. And I say to you guys, this is not the gut check hour, but I will say to you that there are a lot more people that agree with you that are of a different hue. So you don't need to be afraid to just, if you don't agree with something, if it's outrageous, just call it for what it is. And I think you might be stunned at the people that I'm not saying that somebody's going to come to your rescue, and I'm not saying that I'm going to be there to physically back you up, but just have some kind of faith that you are doing the right thing, and you're standing up for the right things at times. And I'm saying this um, as we're coming out of the BHM here, and I'm not, I call it the liberal BHM is what I call it, and I mean that. But and when I keep going here, so and when I say, I strongly suggest that you stand up against all of this Marxist and all of this subversive ideologies that's coming at you, because it's coming at you full speed ahead. But they're expecting for you to cower down and be weak. Oh, look at me. I'm not threatening, I'm just gonna be here. I'm gonna be quiet. I have no voice. But there are more people, as I said, I'm reiterating again, that that have your back. And I'm not quoting Miss Behar, that's Joy Behar, that black people had her back when she was doing her blackface skit. However, I'm paraphrasing on that. Um, I'm just saying, just stand up anyway. Just stand up anyway. I mean, we're running out of runway space. We really are. It's a short runway, people. It really is at this time. So, with all that said, I kind of want to get into this first clip in which this is a VP out of uh, out of a school district in SoCal, and to me, she's pretty radical. She's using all of her charges of white supremacy and slavery to subvert a reopening plan. And to me, that seems to be trending. And we've kind of talked about this previously on a couple of other streams that we've had. So no different. However, we're going to get into that, and yeah. So I'll show you what I'm on about, and we'll get right with it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you guys so much. Awesome Alice is here. Thank you, Awesome Alice. Nice to see you. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch how I'm almost thinking, have they planted a Marxist in every single institution right now? They're just not hiding it anymore. They're planting somebody in there to just subvert everything, to shut down everything. And that's what I'm seeing from this particular Zoom meeting. It's only 5 minutes, but of course I'll have a just commentary section, and then you guys can chime in, as you will. And so we'll go ahead and start that. And so our section is entitled "Over a Barrel." So we'll get right into it. All right, so it looks like we're ready to go here. So we're going to go here with the most interesting part about this is that the person that is speaking, the person that is attempting to be the person that seems to be either the mediator, not the mediator, the leader of this meeting, is out of sight, and I find that more than interesting and convenient. So let's go ahead and roll it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and if you could hit that like button, unlike button, subscribe button, let us know, let the AI know you are here to support us and nurture us. So here we go.
second dose. They didn't even, I don't even have my second dose. I've been delayed. I still haven't received it. And I don't know when I'm gonna receive it. So I'm just saying if teachers are.
Have to give somebody, we have to give the teachers, we have to give the students, the parents a date of what at least.
We don't have to give anybody any date. We don't have to do anything that we don't want to do right now. That's what you don't understand. I don't know where you're getting your information or who's telling you that we have to make a decision today, but that is not how this works. We do not. I know that you're new to the school board. I'm not saying this is a slight to you, but we do not have to make a decision today.
70 to 80% of them have answered the survey. They want to come back to school. So this is what
we're. Who are the 70 to 80% and where are they? I would like to know geographically from which school sites, which language group, and how we conducted this feedback. Where? Please give it to me before I can make a decision. I can't make one. I cannot make one. And I will not make one.
You're welcome to abstain, I believe, right?
There's no reason to be nasty with me, Ms. Riley.
And we can present it for vote. And Charlie, if you wish to vote no, you are more than welcome to, or you can.
I know what I'm welcome to do, you guys. I do. And I know that what we're doing is wrong. So how are we forcing people? That seems like a very white supremacist ideology to force people to comply with, and conform. Just letting you know, privilege. Check it, you guys. I'm at. So I don't want to be a part of forcing anybody to do anything they don't want to do. That's what slavery is. I'm not going to be a part of it. Like nobody even knows, none of you guys even know what we're talking about right now. This seems like a mess. We should not be voting on this tonight. You guys don't have all the information that you need. You guys are just saying what you're speaking from your heart, and that's fine.
I take great offense to the statement that no one on here knows what they're talking about right now. I don't believe that to be the case at all. And
I wasn't talking about you, David. I was talking about my fellow board members, especially the new ones.
I'm not talking about me either. I'm talking about your fellow board members. I don't think that's a fair statement.
They can speak for themselves. If they have an issue with me, they can tell me, but you don't need to speak for them, David.
I can speak for them if I choose to. And right now I choose to tell you that I think that's offensive.
Well, don't say that you can speak for others. That's not appropriate.
Okay, so we're upset, and I know this.
And it's disrespectful. Like, this is the second time you've disrespected me, David.
I think this should be a private conversation between.
No, it doesn't need to be private. None of this needs to be private. Racism doesn't need to be private, Becky.
I don't need racism to be private. What I need to do is move this meeting along so that we can address the issue of if we're going to approve the school reopening plan, and if we're or not, and if we're going to set a reopening date. And that's what we need to talk about.
By what exactly?
By what you just said, Mr. Superintendent.
You were shocked and appalled that I said that I thought it was offensive that you said your colleagues don't know what they're talking about?
Yeah, and then you said that you can speak for all of us.
Okay.
You don't speak for us.
No, I wasn't. That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying. No,
Okay.
that's not what I said.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
not what I said.
we need to stay focused.
Well, if our meetings were actually recorded for the public, we would know that.
It's recorded.
Actually, they are. Rebecca announces that at the beginning.
Where are they? Where are they? They're not easily accessible.
I can pull it up. I'll show you. It says in here, it says, in accordance with board bylaw 9324, this
Easily accessible.
I'm sure that you could ask Kathy to
Does everybody have a Kathy? No, this is what we're talking about. And you guys know what I'm speaking about. So please stop trying to make me seem like I don't know what I'm talking about and like I'm dumb. And I would like to say that I'm offended by the smirks on you guys' faces.
I'm just confused, honestly. I don't understand why you're so upset. I don't, that's why I'm
upset. I'm not upset. You may not know me, but I'm not upset at all.
Okay.
At all.
Okay, so I'm just confused. And I know you keep throwing out the racism, but I am Hispanic. So I'm Hispanic and I have 4 adopted children. We look like the UN. So that's why when you say you're throwing out the racism, I don't understand that part either. So I'm just confused. That's it.
Rachel, thank you so much. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so as I said earlier, I had a lot of thoughts about this, and it was a little bit infuriating for a while. Can you guys hear me now? Just give me a one. I'll take it. I'll take a one. And but the thing about it is, I don't really see a leader in this situation. I see somebody that is running the roost, and she's actually behind the camera, so nobody can see her throwing a tantrum. She actually happens to be black. This is a black woman that's running. She's the VP of this school board. Okay, and I just think that she's absolutely it's all about her in this situation. And she's running, she's using the subversive Marxist tactics to shut down any kind of dialogue and to get her way. And I'm just saying, it's all combative subversion. She's telling, oh, no, I'm not upset about anything. I just want to get my way. And I just want to tell you, you're the oppressor. And I just want to make sure all of you know that anything you say can be used and in against you as an oppressor. I just want you to know that. So that's what I get from her. It's like she's just delaying. She's not working for the people. See, this is what I'm talking about. I talk about this on this show, that when you don't have people that are serving, that are of the public servant or of any kind of leadership background, they just don't have, I don't know what her intent is, but it has nothing to do with the community. It has nothing to do with serving the kids that may be less fortunate. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with her pushing false narratives and shutting people down. And I'm saying this, ladies and gentlemen, these are your tax dollars at work for you. This is why many people don't want to send their kids to public schools. This is why. This is why. This is a good example, a good candidate. If it's not why, it's a piece of the reason. It's a probable, there's very probable that these kinds of things are what people don't want to deal with. And especially now. But I'm saying this is what happens when these Marxists deploy their little ideologues and the teachers unions into these institutions. They're running everything. They've been running it for a while, but they're putting a face on what they're doing. And then to me, what was even worse is at the very end, okay, this woman, she's trying to, it's like the woman on the end, she happens to be Hispanic. And then she goes, oh, well, she's trying to appease this woman by saying that, oh, I have adopted children and we look like the UN, which the UN is not a credit to the defense here. So I just, and there was no response even after that. So I'm just thinking, this is not sustainable. What's going on? This whole, the color coded, everything, the first one offended, raise your hand. It's really going nowhere. And this was not a productive meeting, to say the least. It was not a productive meeting. This woman is, I don't know, what is she, drunk on power, or she's drunk on her Marxist ideology? She's shutting everybody down. So she's there to flex her color card, is what she's doing. And then somebody else, and then I'm just thinking, like, just let this woman make a fool of herself. Don't go to her aid with your color, because, like, what are you doing? You're making it worse. You just added some more color color to the fire is what you did. That's all you did. And you were not going to appease somebody who actually has an agenda that has nothing to do with getting the kids back to school. She starts out by they're telling her that they have this poll with 70 to 80% of the parents and the kids wanting to get back to school. So okay, that's not enough. Now I need to know the demographics and the age. I need to know all of this so I can subvert some more. That's exactly what she was doing. And I'm just thinking, these are positions that are, I think that's, some of the most basic positions that you can run for, whether it's city council or whether it's the school board. If you want to get into some type of office, I heard people all last year talking about how people need to run for office. Well, you know what? When you're not involved, if you're not informed, if you're not active, if you're not either one, this is what you get. This is what you get on your school boards. And this is not the only one. There is another example of people that are I don't know why they would want to be a part of decisions that affect other people's lives and the lives of other people's children. I don't know. And I'm digressing just for a second. I know I showed the little tent pods or whatever the other night, but I didn't go too much into the professional concerns. I really came from a point of a personal concern about the kids doing, being in those little pods. But, but I'm saying as an educator, you have a responsibility. If you're on a school board, you have a responsibility. And no matter what your personal deal is, you have to be able to separate, and you have to be able to discern, and you cannot come in with this Marxist ideology crap and think you're going to hold a meeting that people are going to sit there and deal with. It's very disgusting. And I've talked about this before. So one thing I tried to promote on this channel is some type of civic literacy, some type of civic involvement. And, it's, some people, they go and do their general election, or they go do their midterms, and that's their contribution. But how much closer can it get to you than what's going on with the schools and how your dollars are being spent? I have no idea what these people how they're being compensated or at what levels, but they actually have to run for these offices. They're on the ballot. So these people are, they're politicians, essentially they are. But I'm saying it's all being taken over. It's all being taken over with these Marxist ideologues. And yeah, what, 1619 project, that's going to be the next thing. It's all coming down, whether you like it or not. It's really all coming down. So, and that's why I just wanted to show you that, because the more people are silent, the more people can make you, I guess it's the thing that they say, I'm not sure where this comes from. I'm not the originator of this, but if you repeat a lie enough times, it somehow becomes true. And I think the same thing kind of happens in relationships, where the domestic, there's something about somebody, saying something to you over and over and over and over again, even though there's still something within you, that little postage stamp within you that says, this is not quite right. There's some light in my tunnel. But when they just keep doing it over, drill it over and over again, there's some part of you that starts to cave or starts to fold, because it's on you all of the time. But I'm just thinking this whole white guilt thing is just really crushing people. It's crushing people. It has crushed. I've seen it crush friends of mine. I've seen it crush people that were friends of mine. I don't know who you are anymore, but what happened when my friend comes back, let me know. In the meantime, don't try to wash my feet. Don't try to gut check me on the Black Harlem Renaissance. Don't do any of that. Don't. Just don't do it. I don't need it. However, I'm just saying that the more silent people are, the less runway you got. And we're certainly running out. We're running out of runway right now. I don't know. I don't say I have the answers, but what we're doing right now is not working. It's not working. It's just shutting people down. And see, this is the type of personality. She'll end up in Congress. She'll end up serving in Congress. And people are like, oh my God, how did she get there? Well, look, she's being groomed. She's being groomed. But somebody is grooming these people. They have to be. I think they're being approached. Now that might be, you might call it conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. But they target the people that they want. They recruit their people to keep this thing going. And they have to keep it going. They have to keep feeding it. And they add new blood to it, and it feels really bad. It feels outrageous. It feels outrageous for me to hear it. But but the thing about it is, I have to say, those people in that board meeting, it seems like they were starting to push back, and she just wasn't. The more they pushed back, the more subversive she became. That's all she was doing. That's all. What did they accomplish in that 5 minutes? In that 5 minutes, I didn't hear anything about a projected school reopening plan. I heard nothing. She said, we don't have to do anything. So what are you there for? What are we doing if you're not there to not giving the parents or the community an answer? What are you doing? In fact, I'm going to say that if I were to play that back, I heard like quite a bit of whispering between the other members of the board. I think they were saying, oh my gosh, she's black. Oh my God. It's just the saddest. It's the saddest thing. I couldn't have predicted things this bad, but it's getting worse, friends. It really is. It's getting worse. I'm not saying one person can shut it down. I'm not saying that I can shut it down, but the only thing I'm saying is everybody's not from crazy town or falling off the wagon. Everybody's not. So I'm just saying, you have to be prepared, because the gut check hour's coming your way. And what are you going to do when it comes your way? Just please don't fold up like a paper bag. Just don't. She's just a person. She's just a person. I don't care what's behind her name. I don't care about this, because I have some of that too. I'm saying, just please don't shut down. It's really not. It's not working. It's not working right now. So that was my a little bit of my spiel on that. But I don't know. How are your schools reopening plans going across the country? Because this is SoCal. What can I say? We have issues, and they're not going away. They're not going away. But I will say that the community, there's a petition going around and many things going on right now to recall the VP of the school board. So at least the people are fighting back. They are fighting back. But I just think that you're going to have to do more. You're going to have to be a little bit more proactive. And you may have to go and run for an office. Everybody doesn't have the time. I'm not going to say everybody has the same amount of time to do anything. That's not what I'm saying. But I will tell you that there's a shortage of people that are attending these meetings. I mean, I will tell you, even though I currently don't have any children, I've been approached to attend these meetings because they have no parents there. What is it? And go ahead, YouTube, do your thing. Like, what is it? Drag Queen Story Time. I was approached for Drag Queen Story Time in South Bay because the council, they had nobody. They had nobody. And I just thought that was bizarre. It's like, there's thousands of kids. There's thousands of parents. What can I say? But when you're not present, when nobody's there to represent the actual community, guess what they do? They go ahead and they make these decisions. Or to me, it's equivalent to saying that it doesn't bother them that you're going to do that. So they just go forward. They just move forward with what they do. I mean, I know you can go to your respective, I guess, your respective city or your whatever your area is and find out what's on the agenda. And sometimes things that are not on the agenda or online, they get brought up in these meetings. So of course it's better to be there, but if you at least know what's on the agenda, it does make a difference. And so yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that. So no, we'll open this up in just a little bit. I started this a little bit earlier than I said, but I'm just saying, I don't want to see. I don't like seeing my friends or family. I don't like seeing people getting stop. Please stop letting these people stop rolling over. Stop folding up every time somebody throws that out. I mean, just because they say it doesn't mean that you are. Get them out of your territory. I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get them out of your space. And am I advocating for any kind of violence? No, I'm not. But I'm not saying that people won't go there with you. I'm not saying that either. But I'm just saying you have to do it. We have to do it. Not just you, we have to do it. This is not going well. And I've said this before, everybody, education is everybody's problem or issue at the end of the day. It is, it really is. Will we always have functional illiterates? Yes, we will. Do you know any? Yes. Do I know any? Yes, I do. But can you imagine them being any less functional than they are right now? Can you imagine that? It's possible. It's more than possible. So there you go. So I just want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Wow, I've already burned quite a few minutes on that. But yes, I can show you another example of, just these. I don't know. It's just, I think they're scraping the barrel. They're scraping the barrel for board members. They have to be. They have to be. So I'll share one more with you, and then we have a bit of a article. I want to say hello to a few people that are that have just joined us on this segment. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming in. And look who's here! It's Ronnie Man. Ronnie Man, how are you? Thanks so much for coming in. And then I've got tons of comments here, so we should probably get into some of those. Hi, Killer Whale Channels. Nice to see you. It's been a lifetime. Hello, Anarchy Television, DJ Vision. Barnett's here. Thank you so much for coming in. Rachel Van Ziel. Just read a comment. I'm starting in the middle. A little randomness goes a long way sometimes around here. Rachel says, girl, I refuse to submit to this crap. I laugh at them. It is, there is, you have to laugh at it. You have to laugh at it. But what they're doing, what's happening to these kids, the ones that have been out. And I'm telling you, I don't think that many of these unions are going to let these schools reopen full force. I really don't think so. And that's actually going to that's going to segue me into the next story that's going to talk about that a little bit more in some specifics. It might even give you some figures on that. So it's not just the Marxists, it's the teachers unions that are saying, you either give us do this, and this, meet these demands, or we're not reopening. What is it? The regime, the current Biden regime has already said this X amount of things were going to happen within 100 days. Well, where is it? Did he move the needle on that? Where's the needle on getting these schools open to those levels? And we'll go into that in just a second. So I just want to say hello to everybody in the stream and just read a couple comments. Anarchy says, it seems if you become any kind of government official, school board, fire department, police department, any kind of government politician, it's a question of their morals. And Alice says, it will take the community to stand up and say enough is enough with this crap. And Anarchy says, if people claim to be Christian, if you ask them if they think all their actions are moral, what do you think they'll say? All right. And Awesome Alice says, mine are open, but with all this crazy stuff, I know this is coming. And I just don't know the old school. The old school mom teaching kids at home. And Rachel says, I guess we can talk. We can't talk anymore without pointing to color, gender orientation, sexual orientation, or supremacy crap. Got to have an upper hand somehow. And Rachel says, got to win the argument with ridiculous tactics. I mean, but the thing is, these people have one in the chamber. I mean, did you hear? First of all, the first false narrative she made, one of those, oh, well, I'm not going to do this because that's what slavery is. But, slavery is in everything, right? it's, I mean, yeah, I just, nobody shut her down on that either. One guy stepped up and, she was even condescending. She says, oh, you new board members. Let me help you. Let me show you how new you are. Let me tell you let me let you know that you're an oppressor when you came in here. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you are the oppressor. And I'm going to tell you, this is a true story here. I had a professor one time tell me that she said, white people are tired of being told they are the oppressor. And I'm like, why don't you freaking tell them? Why don't you tell them? Why are you telling me? It's not much I can do. I know you are, but I'm just an undergrad student, and she was white. And that's what I'm saying. The standing up needed to have started, how long ago? I don't know. As long as you keep taking it, what are they going to do? Okay, Rachel R. Jones, how are you? Thanks so much for coming in. Taryn Herring, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you guys. Please hit that like button or unlike button. Whatever speaks to you at this hour. I appreciate you guys for coming in. Linda Ann Burns is here. She says, I have fought these people in the past, and me and God weekend in. I know it says, see, that's the AI. That's AI at work for you. They're going to help you whether you need help or not. Okay, that's where you are on that. And Rachel says, my daughter is online school. She isn't going in school buildings. And Anarchy says, time to start our own schools. And R. Jones, how are you? And R. Jones says, this CV stuff has certainly shown us how many of this country's systems are badly broken. Yes, very much. It's on full display. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think that this has been going on. I just think because people have this little thing right here. People people weren't, doing that. They weren't, they couldn't document. And they probably even felt very badly about documenting what they were seeing because of legalese. Nobody wants to be in trouble, but find out what the laws are on that, or even ask, what can you do it? And if it's closed, and see, that kind of brings me, you guys are bringing up some great points and segueing me into my next clip. But before I do that, I want to go into an article really quickly, and it talks about where the current administration, where they are on what they said their target was in terms of reopening the schools. I missed a few people. I think I saw paralysis by analysis come in. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. So here we go. We have even $130 billion bribe won't get kids back in school, back in the classroom this school year. So let's bring that one. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And so for those of you that haven't quite gotten your Twitch drive up and all of these things, I did put the link directly on the it's on the community tab. So if you just go onto the community tab and you hit the button, then you just hit the button and it takes you to it. And then you can hit subscribe from there rather than you going in there and trying to search your way to the situation. It's not, it's not ideal to do that. So let me see. I'm a little bit laggy. All right. Okay, so yeah, we do have an article which is finally loaded. Okay. All right, so this one is from thestreet.com. Even $130 billion bribe won't get kids back in school, in classroom this school year. All right, so this is according to the supporters of the Chicago Teachers Union participate in a car caravan as negotiations with the Chicago Public Schools continue over the CV disease safety plan agreement in Chicago as of January 30th, 2021. So this is a little bit, this is showing a February 27th, 2021. According to this, Biden wants to reopen schools. He promised schools would reopen in his first 100 days. But what does that mean? The mean of reopening. All right. So here we go, guys. Let's get our new definition of reopening. Okay. So the meaning of reopen. Quote, his goal that he set is to have the majority of the schools, so more than 50%, open by day 100 of his presidency. And that means some teaching in classroom at least one day a week, end quote, said White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. All right, teachers unions roll over Biden. Please consider the teachers unions roll over Biden here, 1 day out of 5. We doubt that's how working parents define open. Ms. Psaki is trying to make a virtue out of humiliating political embarrassment. Mr. Biden figured that his support for the teachers union agenda, along with more money, would get the union to reopen the schools. Instead, he's discovering what America's parents have learned in the last year. Unions run the schools, and no one, not parents, not school districts, not mayors, and not even a Democratic president will tell them what to do. So it's 1 day a week, pal. Get used to it. All right, so here it is on the front. Chicago strike. Chicago elementary and middle schools were supposed to reopen at the beginning of February. They went on strike and are still not open. The strike has ended, but they ratified an agreement to, quote, reopen, end quote, in March. There's that word again. What it means now, the WSJ article explains. Teachers who will be prioritized for mocktails won't have to return to classrooms if they have an underlying medical condition or live with someone who does. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 40% of the people in Cook County have a chronic condition. The agreement also requires in-person instruction to be, quote, paused, end quote, for 14 days if a single child in a school tests positive for the CV. All of this means most kids will be stuck learning remotely for the rest of the school year. And here comes the Golden Ghost. What about California? Incredibly, San Francisco's school board and union hadn't even considered a plan to reopen schools for nearly 11 months. Last week, the city finally sued the school board to force it to come open with a reopening plan. Bully pulpit. If President Biden really wanted to lead, he would stand up to the teachers' unions. The WJ asked Biden to, quote, use his bully pulpit to tell school districts that don't reopen classrooms that they won't get the money, end quote. The journal used the word, quote, bribe, end quote, and so did I. Appeasement might be a better word, but Biden is attempting to buy off the progressive wing of the party. Free money. Instead, Democrats want to send public schools another $130 billion, whether they open or not. And we also get a new definition of, quote, reopen. Follow the science. President Biden promised to follow the science. Instead, he is following the teachers' unions. This op-ed is by Chris Christie, former governor of New Jersey. Let's tune into what Christie has to say. So this article's, kind of got a bit going on here. I'm going to actually put this one in the stream for you. So it looks like he's pointing out some specifics here. Follow the science. That was Joe Biden's promise to the American people until Randy Weingarten and the American Federation of Teachers disagreed. So that must be number 1, because we know that number 2 is the NEA. That's the National Educators Association. So according to this, I spent much of my time as governor saying that we needed to put children and parents first in public education. The teachers union in New Jersey spent tens of millions of dollars to oppose my reform efforts and to protect the status quo. As a result, our per pupil costs were amongst the county's highest, and families in urban districts were held hostage by failure. In an article published January 26th in the Journal of American Medical Association, 3 researchers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found, quote, little evidence that schools have contributed meaningfully to increased community transmission of the CV. Data from the reopened classrooms don't show the rapid spread that has been observed in the congregate living facilities and high-density work sites. The CDC researchers looked at more than 90,000 students in 11 North Carolina districts and found that only 32 students and staff members were infected in school. In the same period, 773 got infected outside school. The CDC bows to teachers' unions. Rochelle Walensky, the CDC director, made the following admission on February 12th press conference. The CDC, quote, wouldn't follow the science, end quote. Direct changes in the CDC's guidelines have been made as a result of consultation with teachers groups to show how far the CDC had moved. Ms. Walensky said that even after everyone had been mocktailed, the CDC still might not recommend that schools reopen normally. The unions pack a lot of financial muscle. I still have the bruises from my battles with them. But President Biden promised Americans an end to these games. This betrayal of our children and the families must end. The long-term mental health effects and educational deficits created by continuing this policy will be devastating. It's time to put our children's interest first in this pandemic. Is anyone else fed up with Dr. Fauci's forever moving goalpost? On February 26th, I wrote, is anyone else fed up with Dr. Fauci's forever moving goalpost? I concluded, I understand wearing masks, I understand avoiding groups and parties, but enough already. The teachers' unions will pick up on this and play it for all it's worth. Numerous readers blasted my article. One reader commented, I am a bit perplexed by this statement. Quote, the teachers' unions will pick up on this and play it for all it's worth. I'm not even sure what that means. It sounds like a personal vendetta against teachers or unions and totally out of place in this discussion. My comment clearly was not out of place, but admittedly, I provided no explanation, which I should have. I had this follow-up post in mind and added this addendum to my original post. Addendum, I was asked by my brief teachers union comment above. I will explain in detail in just a bit in another post. I have now explained, hopefully in enough detail, how the teachers unions play into this, not for the kids. I'm sick of teachers unions and public unions in general. They do not do a damn thing for the kids. Notice I said, quote, unions, end quote. There are many excellent teachers, likely the vast majority, who do care about the kids. The unions don't and never will. FDR's take on public unions. I have commented on public unions and FDR's take before. It's not just teachers unions. It's all public unions are corrupt to the core. Yes, I have a, quote, personal vendetta, end quote, against public unions. I'm guilty as charged and proudly so. However, quote, my vendetta is not out of place in regards to the COVID and Fauci, and it does appear Fauci bent to the unions. Public unions are a corrupt force. They should be abolished. Even FDR understood this important point. Indeed, FDR accurately predicted that would happen. So you've got some imagery here. And we're to the end of this one. To understand FDR's point, please see Democrats. Here's your chance to get rid of a bad police. I discussed problems with teachers unions as well as police and firefighters unions. I do not wish to condense that discussion down to a short synopsis here. Here it says, please click on the above link for a complete explanation, including direct quotes from FDR. Mish. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in the stream for you. Yeah, do with it what you will. Gary Gage, how are you? Thanks so much for coming in. Okay, so there you go. There's your thestreet.com, the street. We got lots of streets these days. Okay. All right. And John H. Roberts Jr., thank you so much for coming in. And Gary Gage says the school in my town have been open from the start with no sickness, so go figure. And we have John H. Roberts Jr., who says public unions should be eliminated. And Rachel, she says, I'm in West New York. They close, open, close. Yeah. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's like the bipolar express. Yep. It's exhausting. It's outrageous and exhausting at the same time. So there you go. So there's your, you had that liner there, but I mean, there are other examples of this kind of the delay. It's just, it's clear that this is on a delay. And I submit that it's an indefinite delay. To what degree? Making an appointment to go to school. I mean, there's all kinds of variations, it's not even hybrid. I don't know what this is. It's certainly disruption. It's total disruption. And for the brains that come up with these things, what are the consequences for them? There will be no consequences for them. I think, what was it? DJ Vision Barnett and myself, we kind of got into that. We kind of got into that the other day. Talked about how the elite come up with all these rules for your life, even when it's not their domain of competence. And when it all comes down, there will be no consequences for them. They'll just pat you on the head and go to their next thing. All right. Okay. So, and then I have, and just for your, and just one more for the road. I have one more for you, and then we will pack it in on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. So yeah, it was, like I said, that first interview, that first boardroom meeting, school board meeting was exhausting. And I just think it's very cowardly that somebody would have that much to say, so much, be that combative, but then you're not even in the picture. You won't even allow yourself to be seen. You're not even standing. You don't even want your image to be attached to all this garbage that you're spewing in a board meeting. So yeah, so to say that you don't have to give anybody a response, what are you there for? And I will follow that story, because I'd love to know if anything. I'm wondering if anything's going to happen to her. I would imagine not, because I think she's there to subvert. She's there to keep the kids out of school. She's not there to move it forward. She's not there to give anybody a response. So what exactly are they paying you for? You're the paid dissent. Yeah. Pretty gross. All right, so I have one more for you guys, and I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ronnie Man says, over a barrel, like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, I really appreciate it, and thanks so much, guys. Let me just do a little break here. It's kind of went by really quickly. Burned quite a few minutes on this. All right, so I'm just going to give a word of thanks to our friends and our patrons, and I'll be right back. right, guys. Thank you so much once again for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And for our final trick, we're going to have one more of these TMZ style, one more of these TMZ grade board meetings. And yeah, it's like, what are we doing? We got the members of South Park serving on the board these days. It's just, you can't, as they say, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. All right, so here we go. One more out of the Golden Coast. This is a school board in California makes a hot mic comment about the parents. I want to thank you guys so much again for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate it. And if you could hit that like button or unlike button, let us know how you really feel around here. Everybody else is. The AI does, so why not you? Here we go.
I believe what I'm going to share will answer a lot of that. And then,
So 9 is gonna go before 7.
no,
Uh-oh.
9 is public comment on
Oh,
non-agendized
disconnected
items.
here.
Okay.
And so we
You
have
guys give me
zero
a
public
1?
comment
I'm
on non-agendized items.
not sure
Oh.
that I
All the
hear
public
this.
comment is related to agendized items.
Oh, I see it.
So we'll just say
So 12.
6.0 we'll add public
Oh, I'm sorry,
comment
no.
on agendized items. And then
Give you some
can
extra
just,
scale here.
These will be read aloud at the meeting up to 3 minutes per individual. The board appreciates all public input. But we don't have to restate that 3 o'clock and all that because it's already happened.
Do you want me to just say I'm moving 9.0 to in place of 6.0?
And that's fine. And but it's going to be agendized items because the comments are for agendized items, not non-agendized items.
And when we get to the non-agendized items, do I need to say it again?
Look at this, you.
All right, I'll get you through the okay. I'll get you through the commercial here.
Say that one more time.
Do I need to read the public comment on non-agendized items again and say there's no comments on non-agendized items?
No, 9.0, we have no public comment on non-agendized items, so then go to 10.0. And then I have been vetted on
6.0, I'm removing 6.0, administer the oath of office, and I'm making it 6.0, public comment on agendized items.
correct.
Okay.
Is that still a 20-minute time limit?
I better go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Or is it because it's an agendized item, there's no time limit?
We generally haven't for things that are on that would cause a storm that we don't want to deal with. So.
Yeah, the other ones that we've done before, we did all of them. I think we've had more than this before.
I was talking to one of my buddies. He's out in Benicia, and they just recently changed how they do public comment. And anyone that wants to put in a public comment has to call into their tech department, and they record their message. And it only lets you go for 3 minutes.
Oh.
And it just lets you know that, hey, before you start, once you hit 3 minutes, it's going to stop, and that's it, and you're done. And then it records them, and then they just hit play, and so they actually get played during the thing, and they don't have to be read.
I think we should do that.
So that's what I wanted to ask, and with some direction, I'll get some more information on that and figure out. He said he would have his tech guy walk us through that. So
I think that would be amazing. Well, Miss President isn't here, but I'm sure that she would be loved that too. Why couldn't we do that when I was president?
Will our tech department be able to handle that, Greg?
What I missed?
no, sorry, Lisa. So this is kind of right up your alley with technology. I was talking to one of my buddies. He's the superintendent in Benicia, and we're talking about public comment. And they just recently switched, so their tech department set it up to where people that want to submit a public comment call in and have to leave a message, and the message will cut you off at 3 minutes, So it's like, hi, my name is Greg Hetrick. I live at, 2221 Delta Road, Knights in California. And I wish to speak on blah, 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 blah. And they say it and da, 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 da. And if 3 minutes comes, it just cuts them off mid-sentence and you're done. And it's like, and then that gets saved and they send it in.
I love that.
Right? I was just.
That's a good idea.
When I was president.
Great. We need that.
I'm all for it, but the question is, will our IT department be able to break away from what
So
they're doing?
Yeah, we won't make any announcement that we're switching anything until we've worked it out and made sure that we can do it and all that. So yeah, Kelly and I'll work on that.
Because that means you would literally have to pull someone from IT during that day, and they would have to just sit there and wait for people to call them.
Advil Dual Action fights pain 2 ways. It's the first and only FDA-approved combination of Advil.
Sorry about that, guys. We'll get you through the extending strong like Advil. We'll get you through that.
I understand it's set up like you just leave a message in it, but it will only allow you to leave a 3-minute message from start to finish.
Okay.
And so it just goes and then it just, it captures it and then goes.
Oh, boy.
You know what? Hey, Kim, I was just thinking, I was just thinking right now, just to encourage you.
Yeah.
People, it's easy to hide behind a screen and put in phones now. But when you're face to face with people, it's a whole different ball game.
Well, what's funny is that she's friends with who I went to Idle Tower, and it was posted on my social media. Someone else posted it. It's like whatever. I wasn't doing anything bad. I honestly don't care about that part. But you know what? Are we alone?
Yeah.
If you're gonna call me out, I'm gonna you up. Sorry, that's just me.
They forget that there's real people on the other side of those letters that they're writing.
Yes.
We're real community members. We have kids or have known kids that have gone to these schools.
Right.
Have a vested interest in this process, and they don't know what we do behind the scenes. And it's really unfortunate that they want to pick on us because they want their babysitters back.
Right.
Right.
That's how I feel.
I agree, and it's fine. It's just I just need to get up.
I totally hear that because my brother had a delivery. Yeah, my brother had a delivery service for medical marijuana. The high clientele were parents with their kids in school.
That's awesome.
So when you got your kids at home, no more Friday, no more smoke dog.
I have all of his football pictures down.
Yeah, your quarterback might be traded. You're not happy.
I heard Frankie's not happy. Sucks.
Right. All 3 of our candidates are on and ready to go when we're ready to go.
Okay. Laura Lanier, just FYI, you guys have the meeting. Oh, we have the meeting open to the public right now.
Nuh-uh.
That's what Laura just said.
Great.
All right, guys. So much for closed meetings, right? Yes, 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 yes. So I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into this segment of Yikes. And just 1 second, I'm going to stop our friends here. Okay. All right, guys. So there you get, you get the gist of how these school board meetings are going these days. So all right, I'm going to read a couple of comments here. And Awesome Alice says, see the pothead man making those deliveries one parent at a time. Wow, from John H. Roberts Jr. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's really not funny. Yikes. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. And R. Jones, no truer words. Okay, I wanted to read this. I'm going to read R. Jones. She says, yep, this bunch is like most of the rest of them. The last thing they really want is input by people who elected them and pay their salaries. So yeah, so they are I don't know. I want to say a blanket. Who are these people is what I want to say, but dare I ask, do you really want to know who these people are? I mean, they said we're real community members, and I mean, it's just looking a little degenerate. It's looking a little degenerate to me. Ronnie Mann says in the county with the most resignations from a school board award goes to. Yeah, Rachel Van Zyl says real people behind the screen. Yep, that was real. And thank you so much. Rachel Van Zyl has a link for you guys out there. Thank you, Rachel. And let's see, I've missed a few other comments. But yeah, he was just just to encourage you. He just wanted to encourage you, that most of the parents are, are clients, clients to the street pharmacist, right? There you go. And I just want to say, I think I'm missing, missed quite a few comments in here. And Ronnie Mann says earlier that everything is agendized. And Anarchy Television says, and we need definitely politician watchers, overt and covert. Now, you can't make this stuff up. It really is. And Melinda Ann Burns says, this is so sad for the children. Yes, it is. But there again, here's the thing, when I think attendance in these meetings are, I think they're probably historically, dare I say historically, I think that the attendance is low for these types of this type of civic engagement. Nobody goes to the meetings, but now you get to see what happens. Are they on their will they be on their best behavior? Will this change anything? I don't know. Not as long as you have people like Miss Fontenot running as she's the VP and she's doing the meeting. She didn't even have her face on the screen, but she's yapping and calling people white supremacist and charging everybody with slavery, and that's what she's there for. And Awesome Alice says this is what happens when people do public service jobs and do it for a check and not to serve the public. Yes, because these people are not serving anybody. She says she doesn't have to give anybody. She was like, what do you mean? What do you mean we have to do? We don't have to do anything. Okay, well then you need to leave. You let's go. I think the meeting should have ended right there. Don't pull out your UN or your color card. Shut this down with some type of, that's your civic opposive duty. She says we don't have to do anything. Then we don't have a meeting then, because you would have spared yourself all that Marxist ideology and subversion that she was doing. You would have saved yourself all of that. because she said you don't have to do anything. So maybe she doesn't have to do anything, and that means you don't need her there. She needs to step down. But like I said, we'll see what happens with the petition and all, because I've seen the petition online. In fact, we could go there right now, but there is a petition out there. And the thing about it is the comments that I've seen with the petition, these people are not happy with this. But how did we get here? How did we get here? How can you have that many unhappy people, but yet, and how can we ignore history, and how can we ignore everything and still go out and do and vote the way you vote, and support the people that you support on the community level? And I say that the county and the city seats are where you have your most power, your most power in this system that we live in. The state level and the federal level is so far away, you just won't touch anything there. You'll be lucky if you get a standardized, a formality letter from Dianne Feinstein. You'll be lucky. So thank you guys so much for tuning in on this segment. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys so much for the likes, dislikes, and the sharing. And also, if you could just make sure you're still subscribed. That's hey, Old School Wolf Media. Nice to see you. Thanks so much for coming in. And yes, that's about as much as you can do. But yeah, I have not been to any meetings. I mean, at one point we were very short on people running. There were some people, in many cases, there were people in the district where I lived that there was nobody to run to challenge these people. I'm like, oh my gosh, look, I mean, they sent me an entire list of like, these are all the seats that the incumbent's going to win because there's nobody to run against them. And actually, it's funny. I'm wondering, okay, somebody on that first meeting that I showed you was a very new board member, like a very, very new board member, because that seat was actually opened. And I'm actually very familiar with that particular school district on some level. I think I know enough. I think I know enough about that school district. But I also know about some of their other programs, and those kids really need to be in school. But I don't know, were the parents going to the meetings before all of this stuff happened? I don't know. All I know is that prior to all this happened, that I was like in South Bay, they had nobody to show up to challenge the drag queen story time. So that's how I knew about that. But I don't know, show up for the meetings is all I can tell you. Show up or send somebody else. Okay, friends, I thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to do a couple of infomercials, and I want to thank everybody who has tuned in and who's actually plugged into the Twitch at this point, because it looks like we got somebody like during this time. So thank you so much. I'll give that person's name. Hopefully they're not going to be it won't be too offensive that we have somebody over on Twitch right now, maybe. Well, at least there's one person over there. Yeah, so thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll be right back right after this. right, guys. And once again, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in on this Over the Barrel, our boardroom made for TMZ segment of Black Spring with Autumn. And thank you so much, Ronnie Man, for working hard, as well as Rachel Van Ziel. And Rachel, thank you so much for the for the items that you sent me. Those have all been like fully loaded. But I said, you guys like anticipate things. It's like it's kind of remarkable that you guys are like you already kind of know what I'm on about before I'm on. Or you know what I'm on about while I'm on about it. And it's, you guys send great things in. So thanks so much for that. And come on, Read Unstoppable from Canada. How are you? Thanks so much for coming in. And as I said before, make sure you check out the community tab, because I did put CFFS's article over there. But I did tell you already that you would find those in Epic Times, which you can get them for free here from Black Spring. And at least you can get that article here. And I think it's on American Thinker, Epoch Times, and Politics and Business and Politics Review. So you can catch at least one of the articles that will be published there. So I don't know how soon he gets those to me, but he's pretty good about getting them over here. But yes, and I think they're also looking for volunteers over at CFFS, as well as they're still doing a lot of work. They're doing a lot of work on the mask regulations, like nationwide. So if you want to get involved in that, then that's always available. And if you have any questions that are not answered over there, I can probably get those answers for you. And come on, Reed says, thanks. I'm doing okay. Good. It's nice to see you. I've seen you around regularly. So it's nice to see you, getting to know some of our friends here. All right, so I'm going to say hello and salute to everybody for one last time, and I'll get you going on your Monday. And DJ Vision Barnett, if you're still here, DJ, give us a sign. Show us that you have a pulse. Give us a 1. Give us a 1 if you're still here. Thank you so much for coming in. And Awesome Alice is always awesome in the chat. Thank you, Awesome Alice, for coming and supporting. And Rachel Van Ziel, thank you so much for being a gold standard stripe here. And and for all the great links that you send. And Archie Television, thank you so much for coming in. Let's see. Melinda Ann Burns. She says, prayers and blessings to all. Same to you. Thank you so much, Melinda, for coming in. And R. Jones, thank you so much for coming in. You're never a hair out of place. Thanks so much. And Tarrant Herring, thank you so much for coming in. And if there's a link that you guys want that's not out there, because I've told you guys before, the method to my madness around here is a lot of times I don't put every single detail on here because of the AI. And I think when I put like descriptions, the more description I put, it just seems like the more the AI just starts, subverting me and suppressing me. So thank you for that. So if there's an article that you want that I haven't posted, you can send me an email if you want, if it's, if it matters. John H. Roberts Jr., thank you so much for coming in. I do want to say one more word. The Twitch Drive is not going to end on March 31st, but the Periscope will end on March 31st. So you guys have 30 days to, get your Twitch Drive going, or either just come here directly. I mean, I don't know what the most popular choice is. And I'm not assuming for a second that it's actually YouTube, but I'm just saying you might want to get it together if that's your only way, because I think all of that's going to be shut down. And John H. Roberts Jr., I missed this one. He said, which states are not opening the schools? Well, you can probably guess too. They're not, I just can't really tell, like everything is, it's not just the schools. So you can't really tell what's open on this wonky side of the country. Yeah, we're like full on. I don't even want to say. I really don't. Rachel, thank you guys so much for coming in. Gary Gage, thank you so much for coming in. And Ronnie Mann, thanks so much for being the gold standard around here and doing all that you do to support the channel. So I think that's about, and Old School Wolf Media, thank you so much for coming in. It's always nice to see you here. And Kimone Reed, Unstoppable, thank you so much for coming in. And Rachel says, I almost missed like 4 of Lockhart's videos, no notification. I love YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is, I don't know, what do they say? They say they're doing the most? They're doing the most around here. But, I did tell you guys that the CEO or of YouTube, there's an entire statement and they're giving an entire statement about what their plans are for 2021. So I'm not surprised. And that's why I have Twitch going here. And even when I'm on a lull, I'll be going on a lull in a bit. And I'm just trying to let you know where you can find me. But then even if I'm on a lull and I have been on for like a week or something, it's been a while since I've not been on for a week. But, I might even do something like on location just to kind of break up what the heck's going on at the time. Just break it up a little bit. And Ronnie Mann says Californication. Yikes. You went there, Ronnie Mann. All right, guys. I thank you so much. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up just for a few minutes. And I'll give you your 3 to 5. And it's just commentary. So we can get you guys in and out on your Monday. Okay, so there is your link. So we'll just do 3 to 5 and then we're out. So I really appreciate it so much. And I am going to say that person's name because I think they're a new person. Maybe they're not new, but I just want to say thank you to Taylor Talks Truth. She's just joined our Twitch party. So I really appreciate it. Taylor Talks Truth. And then also there's Old Head Deuce, Ronnie Mann, Zero to Infinite. There's some people that are over there for sure. I just don't, there's some user experience stuff going on over there that I don't like. I don't approve, but we'll work it out. But, and that's why I put the link in the stream for the Twitch. So you just click on the link and then you can go right to it and then you can subscribe from there. And it looks like Rachel says Twitch seems good at notifications. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best parts. They're good with their stats and their channelytics over there. But, I guess like anything else, you have to run, get the kinks out, get the bugs out before things smooth out or get better. So, and Kimone Reed says, watching this again. Yeah. So yeah, because I think the premiere or the bulk of what we were doing on this stream was that the La Mesa school board meeting where it went bad really quickly and it stayed bad for 5 minutes. So, she's on, I don't know. We'll see. I'll follow that up for sure. Cause that's really kind of close. That's in my neck of the woods. So, All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll see you guys around on the next live stream in the comment section, a moonlight stream or a test. And have a great Monday night.